Jimbo Fisher response that came so fast today and so stridently today. Again, the Rich Eisen Show has got exclusive sound of what his initial statement was. You got it, Mike? You got it? Hit.
Say hello to my little friend.
That was it right there. And they said, we need a little bit more meat on the bones. Leave a little bit more meat on the bones. Who's your little friend? What do you mean? What does say hello mean?
Okay.
And him basically saying, look into Saban. Ask any of his former assistants. Ask anybody who's known him or been around him. He's a cheater too, essentially. He didn't use the word cheating, but he absolutely said that over and over and over again. He said he had a glass house, but we elected him God. But I guess when you walk on water, you could say stuff like that. He's supposed to be some football czar. I mean, over and over again. Said the quiet part remained quiet, but what was out loud was essentially like, who is he to tell me and use my name and use our institution of higher learning and 17-year-old kids as people who aren't doing the right thing? When everybody should go look into what he's done. But then lost amongst all that is like, well, was Saban right or what? Like, what are you doing? Like, how'd you get that recruiting class?
How do you come out of nowhere and just bang back-to-back number one?
Well, it's not out of nowhere. I mean, you're kind of in the top 10. It's not like you're 30th. It's not like Ole Miss back in the day that wound up sending Hugh Freeze to Liberty. Okay, where all of a sudden DK Metcalf shows up and Laramie Tunsil shows up, and
that's true.
Where they were way out of it, and then all of a sudden they get a bunch of kids. So, but they're number one. And Alabama isn't anymore. So this is what Jimbo had to say when asked point blank about it.
You're saying that no players in
there's no bylaws of anything we ever
or...
promised, done anything that goes against the laws of the state of Texas, and it's insulting to say a 17-year-old and his family broke laws. No.
So I mean, it's all parsed with no bylaws broken, nothing broken. It's like, did you? He said, nothing promised that's against the state of laws of Texas, which, now leads us all to go, let's look up the state of laws of Texas or whatever. And if there was a collective, and he also said he had no idea what the collective's up to, which is just, it boggles the mind. So you're just going to let a collective go and tell a kid, they've got I guess, you're just going to have a collective tell a kid, hey, somebody wants your name, image, and likeness. You're not going to look into it? You're not going to look into who it is? You're going to find out who it is? Certainly, if they're knocking on the door of somebody that you're recruiting, and what if they are setting somebody up with a name, image, and likeness deal that you don't think can handle it, or you don't think, or even worse, you're recruiting, and you have no idea if anybody from your organization or a collective associated with anybody that you know or your school knows is offering a kid anything? It kind of stretches the imagination. Let's put it that way. But the bottom line is, even if you think this whole thing is unsavory and it's ugly, I guess you won't be sitting down in front of, I imagine, would be CBS Sports on the 8th of October when Texas A&M plays Alabama. That week is going to be lit. And we'll all be tuned in for it. And we'll see who comes out on top. And which player that just got recruited by A&M does whatever for them. We'll be tuned in for that. And, and I don't have a problem with kids getting paid. And if like, hey, you come here, we'll give this to you. And I don't have a problem with a school being told, I'm not coming unless you match the offer I got from somewhere else. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's the coach's prerogative to say, yeah, that's not the way we do things here. I mean, that's not a price we're willing to pay for you. I don't have a problem with any of that. I have a problem with no rules around it. That's what I have a problem with, because it leaves everyone unprotected. Schools, you guys like, yeah, schools, they don't need protection. Coaches, to hell with them. The rules have been in their favor. What's to stop a kid from saying, I was told X number of dollars and I'm not getting it, I'm suing you? And there's no paper trail. There's no paperwork because everyone's covering it because we're trying to hide something. Just put it all out in the open. And come up with the rules to figure that out. And if that means unionizing the kids, then so be it. I tilt more towards Billis than everyone else on this one. That's it. And what's to stop a school from suing a kid? You left us. We told you we were going to give you all this money. You needed to stay for this amount of time. Oh, really? Where's the contract? We'll pay you that. You've just got to commit at least to 2-3 years here. No transfer portal for you. Even though that's not legal, right? Or that's not on up and up. There's just too much being done under the
because
table.
they're student athletes, so you're not technically allowed to do that, I guess.
I don't know. Nobody does. So that's why Billis is kind of right. It's just like, let the free market bear what it bears. The same way that coaches can leave schools. The same way that, as he says, school presidents will always understand what you pay certain employees for certain jobs. It's the same thing for the kids. But we just don't need the ugliness, like coaches calling each other out. And you certainly, it's coming. Some kid's going to sue a school or vice versa to say a deal that was made behind their paywall, if you will, wasn't lived up to. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.